Welcome to the Tahoe After Hours show, brought to you by NorCal Beverage. We're here at High Sierra Brewing Company in the capital of Nevada. We're going to check in with the owner, Jim. We're talking all things High Sierra Brewing Company, so stay tuned. We've got a great show in store for you. Welcome to the first segment of Tahoe After Hours show. We're here with Jim Phelan, owner of High Sierra Brewing Company, the only brewery here in the capital city of Nevada. Thanks for having us in here.
Oh, thanks for having us.
We had to come in here prior to opening because you guys are popping in here and you guys are going through more and more and more beer each and every year. You guys have been open for 2.5 years now.
That's right.
Tell us sort of what got you started here.
Well, I owned several restaurants before the brewery, and this kind of just fell in my lap. I wanted to have a brewery always, and so it was a dream come true. And we've been, as you said, we've been open for 2.5 years now, and business has slowly been increasing over that 2.5 years. And more so than anything else is our beer consumption. People just cannot get enough of our beer, which is a good thing.
Because you brew it every single day here, as you see behind us. How many? What do you even call these back here?
Well, if you can see in the back over here, that's actually our kettle, and on the other side is our lauter tun.
Okay.
And so we can brew 15 barrels of beer at a time. That's 30 kegs of beer at a time. And in some instances, we'll do a double batch, which is 30 barrels, which is 60 kegs of beer. So the brewers are working fairly long hours, and we just hired a couple new people to meet the current demand.
Yeah, that's a lot of hard work goes into a good craft beer. But you guys, the big story is you guys recently partnered with NorCal Beverage to start distributing to the Tahoe area. And name some of the locations that you guys are in starting this summer and sort of what you see in the future with NorCal.
Well, we've only been with NorCal for about 3 weeks.
Okay.
To get a distributorship takes approximately 3 months. So we've been working at it together since probably February, March. And so over the last 3 weeks, we have now received 12 new tap handles. Those are the handles that we got. We got 12 handles in their territory. Now in the Lake Tahoe territory, we only have 2 handles. So that's at the Chevy's restaurant in South Shore, and I just found out today we are at the Beacon.
Nice,
next
that's a good spot.
Camp Rich. So we're very excited about that, and we're just getting the distributors and the reps are just going to be pounding the pavement, getting our beer out there.
What's your most popular?
Well, our most popular here at the restaurant, out of our big 3, we distribute 3 draft beers: our IPA, our OMG IPA, our Black Pussycat Imperial Stout, and our Seamus O'Phelan Irish Red. Out of those 3 here at the restaurant, our IPA is by far the highest seller, and then our Irish Red, and then our Imperial Stout. Right now in the California market, as everybody knows in the craft beer segment, IPAs are #1. So right now, no one's doing really an Irish Red, and that is just taking off like hotcakes.
I've heard also good things. You were telling me about your IPA. Describe it. You called it middle of the road. You don't like to use that term, but some people really might like that. Yes. Like myself, I'm not a big IPA fan because of the crazy hoppiness.
Yes, so High Sierra Brewing Company, we create beers for everyone, not just the aficionado, but the beginner. And our IPA, we like to call it a session IPA. It's 6.3% alcohol. It's 81 IBUs, that's international bitter units.
You can have a few of them and just kick back and enjoy a few of them. We'll get more into the in-depth into the brewmaster side and into that dry hoppiness. We'll talk with the guys back there. Wishing you the best in your expansion and getting into the Tahoe area. We're gonna go check in with the brewmasters back here in the cooler?
In the brewery.
In the brewery. So we're heading into the brewery. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this break. Welcome back to the Tahoe After Hours show, brought to you by NorCal Beverage. We're here at High Sierra Brewing Company with head brewmaster Jeff, and we're directly in the heart of the brewery. This is what makes this place happen.
That's true. That's right.
Describe some of this machinery you've got around here, because that's really what it is, just pure machinery.
Yeah. Well, here at High Sierra, we're an all-grain brewery. So what that means is we make our beer from malted grain.
Okay.
And what that details is we have to buy the grain, We take that grain and we haul it back into our hallway back there where we have a mill, and we mill that grain in. And when we mill it, it gets augered up and it goes into our mash tun, and where we blend it with water. And at that point, you make like a porridge consistency.
Okay, and that's in the copper one right here behind
correct.
me. Cool.
Right there, the top of that guy.
Yeah.
And what we're doing is the water's a certain temperature and you're converting the starches to a sugar.
Okay.
What you do once you've done that is you want to wash those sugars off the grain. And the way we do that is with a sparging arm. So it's like a big shower head. Hot shower washes the sugar off the grain, and we collect that. At that point, that's called wort. And we're collecting that wort and we transfer it to our boil kettle. When it gets to the boil kettle and we've collected as much as we want, we start the boiling process. And what that does is it gets a lot of the impurities out.
That's where the good beer separates from the other, bathtub beer.
Right. I mean, you definitely want a good boil. There's a lot of impurities and off flavors that come out during that. Well, we also add the hops at that point at different stages, depending upon the style and what we're looking for. Once we do that boil, which in our case is a 90-minute boil,
okay.
we go flame out, or we kill the steam to the boil kettle, and we let that cool down, and we do a whirlpool on that. And the whirlpool collects all the little particles and hops and stuff that's floating around in there and kind of sucks it to the bottom in a mound so that we don't transfer that.
Right.
We want it to be as clean as possible. So once we transfer that, it goes through a heat exchanger, and we cool that beer down to a pitchable temperature so that we can add the yeast to it. Because at this point, it's still beer, it's still wort. And once you don't want to pitch yeast into anything too hot, it will kill them. They're a living organism.
Right, right.
And so we have to run it through a heat exchanger and cool that wort down. And once we do that, we pitch the yeast in, and the yeast consume that sugar solution that we made from the barley. And the byproduct of that is alcohol and CO2. At that point, it's beer. And we usually let them go on our ales about 2 weeks.
Okay.
And that comes down to gravity, which is just a term we use to dictate how much alcohol is, or to measure how much alcohol is in
content.
that beer.
Got it.
At that point, we chill it down, because we want the yeast we don't want the yeast in there anymore.
Right.
Their job
that's
is
where
done.
you take it off the top.
Exactly.
Okay.
So when we crash this fermenter, we take it down to about 2 degrees Celsius, and those yeast decide, no, we don't like this, it's time to hibernate or go dormant, and they drop out of solution. It's called flocculating. They'll actually come together to try and stay warm and protect each other. In that process, they drop out of solution, and they come down to the bottom of this fermenter. This is the conical, and we dump that off or harvest it for the next beer.
Got it.
And that's pretty much the process. After that, we filter it and keg it up, and it's ready to go.
We're going to go get into the process of actually brewing some beer. So thanks for joining us here in the brewery at High Sierra Brewing Company, also home of some great food, awesome happy hour. So come check it out here right in Nevada's capital. We'll see you next time. All right, that's a wrap on the Tahoe After Hours show. We want to thank NorCal Beverage, owner Jim of High Sierra Brewing Company. It's been quite the process here. We're going to go have some beers.